Part 28, Disaster Relief Money and Food arrived. All Wuliang Prefecture was the most severe area of the earthquake. Almost all the houses in Fengcheng collapsed. Although countless victims escaped the earthquake, they did not escape the cruelty of reality. Countless victims of ordinary conditions squatted on the rubble of their homes, crying and screaming that they were dead. I don't live anymore. I don't live without my house, God. The earth. Why are you so cruel? You want to take away my house mercilessly. A man in his 30s, sitting on the ruins of his house, wiping away tears and crying. You know, this house is all his savings, and it just collapsed. Can he stop crying? My child's father didn't escape. How can we live with our orphans and widows without a husband? On the ruins not far away, the woman held a child in one hand and cried out to the ruins. Her 2 children thought I would never see my father again, and I cried so hard that it was heartbreaking to hear. Lu Yenji, the prefect of Fengcheng, is a new prefect who has just taken office. Although he is young, he has some skills. In addition, he is very popular for the people. He was walking on the streets of Fengcheng, which was already in ruins, watching countless children who had lost their parents lying on the ruins and weeping. If you want to distribute some disaster relief money to the entire Fengcheng people, one person may not even be able to share 10 pennies. He didn't know what to do with so little disaster relief money. Are you going to piss him off? Sir, what should I do now? The subordinates who had been following Lu Yenji looked at Fengcheng crying all over the place, and their hearts were also aching. What else can I do? Of course, continue to open warehouses to save people. Brother, it's a good thing, a great good thing, the emperor said. First open the warehouse and release food to help the displaced people. And the disaster relief money for rebuilding the house is coming quickly. The young man rushed over excitedly, and handed the Imperial Decree in his hands to Lu Yenji. Lu Yenji's face was blank. Didn't this disaster relief money arrive a few days ago? Why is there still disaster relief money in the back? He took the Imperial Decree, opened the Imperial Decree in a hurry, and then looked at the words on it carefully. When he saw the amount of disaster relief money and disaster relief food, he looked in disbelief. Lu Yenji's expression was gloomy, and his teeth itch with anger when he thinks of the corrupt officials above who have embezzled money for disaster relief. Even the disaster relief money dare to embezzle, not afraid of retribution. Sir, if you continue to open warehouses to save people, when you pay the grain tax at the end of the year, what should you use to pay the grain tax? At that time, the grain tax will not be enough, but the head will be beheaded. Otherwise, what should I do? Did the people of Fengcheng starve to death? If this is the case, this official would rather exchange my life for the lives of the people in the city. Lu Yenji had a resolute expression, and quickly said to the arresting officers behind him, open the warehouse to release grain, and the grain tax will not be enough at that time. It is up to this official alone to be responsible. My lord. Several of the arresting officers opened their mouths to persuade them, but when they saw Lu Yenji's resolute face, they stopped talking. With tears in their eyes, they turned and ran towards the prefect's office. They just ran out a few steps when a young man rushed over with the Imperial Decree in his hand, only to see him shouting excitedly as he ran. Brother, brother, the Imperial Decree, the Emperor's Imperial Decree is here. The Imperial Decree? Lu Yenji was confused. How could there be an imperial edict at this time? With that money, the entire Fengcheng can be restored to its former prosperity. And that huge amount of grain can fully support the entire Fengcheng people until the grain matures in the next season. What's going on here? Why does the country suddenly have so much money? Also, with so much money, why does no one dare to embezzle? He continued to look down. And when he saw that he was going to post an imperial list to announce how much disaster relief money and how much food the victims received, he shouted in admiration. After the disaster relief money is made transparent, naturally no one dares to steal the disaster relief money. The Emperor List? Where is the Emperor List? Lu Yenji asked his younger brother excitedly. The young man said excitedly, the Emperor List is in the government office. When the disaster relief money arrives, you can post the Emperor List at the city gate. Lu Yenji loudly said to the people who were crying, "Folks, can you sit down and listen to me?" Lu Yenji's reputation is really high. As soon as he finished speaking, the surrounding people slowly stopped crying hysterically. The shouting lowered the cry in the throat and looked at Lu Yenji. "Folks, although the earthquake has taken away our homes and our relatives, the emperor has all the people in his heart and sent a large amount of disaster relief money, which will arrive in Fengcheng City in a few days. Some people have long been dissatisfied with the current world and sneered coldly. Who does not know that the disaster relief money has been embezzled by corrupt officials at all levels, and only a few pennies are in the hands of the people? What are you using for a few cents? Repairing the foundations of houses is not enough. That's right, I'd rather not give money for disaster relief. Just ask the emperor to give us a full meal so that our children can live." A man with 4 children replied loudly. "Yes, as long as the children live. It doesn't matter if we die or not." The pessimistic people couldn't help crying again when they thought of their children. Their cries quickly caused a chain reaction, and the crowd that had just calmed down began to cry again. "My fellow villagers, could you please listen to me?" Lu Yenji also knew why the people were crying, so instead of blaming them, he persuaded aloud, "Folks, no officials dare to embezzle the disaster relief funds this year, because the Emperor's Imperial Decree has been issued. And it is clearly stipulated how much disaster relief money and disaster relief food the people can receive. If anyone dares to embezzle the disaster relief money and disaster relief food, even if the official loses the black gauze hat on his head, he will also seek justice for the villagers." Before the disaster relief money was not transparent. He didn't know how much disaster relief money was distributed by the imperial court, so he didn't know how much disaster relief money was embezzled by the people above. But now that the disaster relief money is transparent, as long as the amount of disaster relief money he takes over is different from the amount in the imperial edict, he will definitely not take it, but will sue them instead. The expressions of the people did not show a trace of joy. They had long been accustomed to the corruption of officials, so they did not hold out any hope. Only 3 days later, when the disaster relief money and food arrived in Fengcheng, countless people were so shocked that they almost dropped their eyes as they watched the long queue of trolleys advancing into Fengcheng. They have grown so big and have never seen so much grain. Before they could come back to their senses, an imperial list was posted on the city wall, and the catchers stood under the city wall, announcing the notice on the imperial list. When they heard that each family could receive 100 taels of silver and one person could receive 300 caddies of food, they all wondered if they had hallucinations in their ears. Why is everything so unreal? Am I dead? That's why I imagined such a good thing. Someone was the first to react and murmured to the companion beside him. It should be. Otherwise, how could there be so much food? Having so much food is already a pleasant surprise, but so much money must be an illusion, and it is impossible for such a good thing to happen. Ah, blah, 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 don't hurry to get the food. The victims who had been hungry for several days didn't believe that he was dead. He was so hungry now that his stomach was burning with pain. How could he be dead? When he saw someone walking towards the government office, he hurried to the government office, wanting to get food to fill his stomach as soon as possible. More and more people reacted. They shed tears and worshiped the sky, not only thanking the gods for their mercy, but also thanking the emperor for being sympathetic to the people. At the same time, on a desolate hillside, hundreds of men in ragged clothes were holding shovels, discussing how to start an uprising. Boss. The villagers of Qingwan village have agreed to join us and are willing to start an uprising and overthrow the Holy Dynasty. Boss. The villagers of Paihat village also agreed to join us and are willing to rise up and overthrow the Holy Dynasty. Boss. The men below reported in an orderly manner to the anti-Holy Dynasty people. They had called. The man surrounded by the crowd at the center looked hungry and yellow, and his tall figure became thin because he had been hungry for many days. If it weren't for the money from the disaster relief above, he would not be willing to embark on the road of rebellion. If you can live in peace, who wants to live the days of licking blood on the knife? Especially his brothers, who have been eating bark for many days. If they don't capture a city, they will all starve to death on this hillside. Since the emperor is unkind, don't blame them for being unjust. Someone suggested, Boss, we have gathered so many brothers. How about we capture Baiji city first and let the brothers have a meal first? Have a feast. Yes, first capture Baiji city. And let the brothers have a feast. Just as everyone was clamoring to capture a city first, an excited voice came from not far away. Boss, boss, God. What a great thing. Everyone followed the sound and saw an ordinary-looking young man running up the hill out of breath. What good thing? Could it be that the prefect of Baiji city rebelled? The man called the boss was named Luer Zhu. He stood up abruptly and greeted the man excitedly. No, the young man shook his head. Luer Zhu was disappointed. He thought it was the prefect of Baiji city who rebelled. Sango Zi, since it's not the prefect of Baiji city rebelling, what's the good thing? Someone started to boo. Could it be that your wife is pregnant again? Ha ha ha. How can you say that your wife's pregnancy is a good thing? After all, it was a peasant uprising, and the conversation was naturally endless. The man called Sango Zi was not angry when he saw them teasing him. He said excitedly, It's not that my wife is pregnant, it's that the city has put food on it. As long as people with household registration, each person can receive 300 caddies of food. A family can receive 100 taels of silver. Ah! The hillside, which was still noisy just now, was so quiet that a needle could be heard falling. After a long time, someone reacted and asked uncertainty, Sango Zi, what are you talking about? I must have had a hallucination. How could the imperial court send us so much food? That's right, Sangu-san, don't make fun of us. Someone reacted and immediately questioned Sango Zi's words. It's true. It's all true. Seeing that they didn't believe it, Sango Zi was even more anxious than them. Just when everyone doubted Sango Zi's words, another man who went out to inquire about the news came back. He excitedly said to everyone, Brothers, don't rebel, the government has distributed food. Hurry up and get it. Is there food? Luer Zhu asked excitedly, pulling the man. The man replied excitedly, They're posted it, I saw it, as long as there is a household registration. No matter whether it is an adult or a child, everyone can receive 300 caddies of grain, enough for us to last until the next season's crops are mature. Hurry up and collect them. Let's go. Or it'll be gone if we're late. For a time, the crowd was noisy, some people questioned, but most of them dispersed. They ran down the mountain frantically, and ran towards their home. They wanted this good news. Tell the people in the village. Luer Zhu was also excited, but he was still calm, and said to the crowd, Brothers, when the food has come down, there is no need for an uprising. You quickly tell the surrounding villages and ask them to go to the city to get food. Yes, boss. The crowd immediately dispersed as birds and beasts and ran to their homes one after another. Lu Erzu also ran to his house excitedly, and he wanted to tell his family this good news. People in the same situation as Lu Erzu and the others staged it in different hillsides or caves. When they learned that the imperial court had released food, they threw down their weapons and rushed to the city to receive their food. For a time, all the people in the earthquake-stricken areas sang praises to the wise king of the present day. And all sincerely knelt down and kowtowed in gratitude to the present holy king. In the Star Palace, Jun Yi looked at the bamboo slips sent by the secret agent. And a rare smile appeared on Jun Yi's face. As an emperor, is there any reason to be unhappy watching the people sing praises to him? In a good mood, he shouted to eunuch Yun outside the door. Yun Shang, set up the Ministry of Industry. Here. Eunuch Yun responded and immediately started to do it.